Again, you can email me your comments, questions, SherryTalkRadio@yahoo.com, and I'll get them there. I got information. What about the 10th planet recently in the news? There's more Planet X and Sedna. I've been talking about Sedna. Had that on my site, could never keep the Bible codes up on it. They always take it down. So, listener wants to know what about the 10th planet recently in the news. And supposedly we have 2 more planets. And to me that makes a whole heck of a lot more sense because, you know, if the Lord does everything in numbers, why wouldn't we have 12 planets instead of just 9? I think there's more out there. More than just one. I think we have a total of 12 planets. And so, of course, I've been talking about Planet X for a long time, one that was judged and cast out of our orbital system. And it does come back on a cycle according to Sitchin. And, of course, I don't believe most of what Sitchin puts out because he puts in a lot of disinfo with it as well. And we really don't know how long the Earth has been here. I know if you go on the Church View, the Earth has only been here for 7 years, and that's it. But if you go on a lot of other older books, Dead Sea Scrolls, other information there, it's been around for a lot longer than 7,000 years, I'm sorry. Earth's been around a lot longer than 7,000 years. When you consider all of the garbage that the New Age crowd puts out as well. You know, the lost cities of Atlantis, Lemuria, these ancient civilizations existed. I have written articles mentioning and talking about them. And so we know that the Earth's been around for thousands of years, if not millions. This is not the first creation that's been on this Earth, mankind. We are the first creation created as man. But we are not the first creation to inhabit Earth. Put it that way. And so you can read my articles at SherryTalkRadio.com, TheWatcherFiles.com, SherryTalkRadio.com. I have all my articles listed on it. And read what I have to say about earlier civilization. So yeah, Planet X coming in. Did receive an interesting email last week. I think I mentioned it on the show about a supporter and a friend sending me some information about a cloud the size of, I don't know what state she said. Let's just say Arizona, heading towards the Florida coast. And, of course, this would indicate something behind it. And which reminded me of a vision I had several years ago, or maybe last year, about something coming up from Florida and then turning east. And so, could be an indication of Planet X coming up from the south, and it will head east. But we also have the dark star, the dark twin star. We have that. Of course, that being a signal, a sign that the Antichrist is ready to appear. I've put that on my website at hiddencodes.com. So there's a lot of anomalies that are coming. A lot of different things. Some people believe a whole mini star system from Orion that will come from Orion down to the Earth. And so, yeah, just keep an eye on that. If you want to call in, I can't tie up the call line because Larry might try to call in. So send me an email or a Yahoo instant message at SherryTalkRadio@yahoo.com. Maybe we'll get them on for the second hour. I know we only got about 5 minutes left of this one. So maybe we'll be able to. Only thing I could think of was some kind of a sabotage going on because he always is very dependable. Question, do you believe that the 2 witnesses exist? And if you believe that they do you believe that they are already teaching? I know if you look at the ancient book, and I've quoted it on my site before, the ancient book of Nicodemus, which was one of the books found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, in Nicodemus, I believe it's chapter 5, verse 3, or it's chapter 3, verse 5, it's 5 and 3, is that the 2 returning witnesses would be Enoch and Elijah. And I don't believe that they're here already. I guess I would believe that they were here if they were up and doing miracles. I guess it really depends if you take that literally or symbolic. And I've just never gotten a solid word from the Lord himself on the whole thing. I can quote what theology teaches. I can quote what man believes. I can quote out the different interpretations about the two witnesses. But I've never gotten a solid word himself from the Lord on it, and so I have no comment on it. All I have is personal opinion. Personal opinion being that things usually happen the way we don't expect them to. I know if you grow up in the church crowd, you actually believe that, I think they believe Moses and Elijah will return. Literally, as the ancient Moses and Elijah will return in the last days. And so I always had that kind of a mindset the same way of hearing it for 30 years, that Moses and Elijah would return literally, physically. A lot of people believe it can't be Moses because Moses died. And so if you go in the church theology, the reason they pick Elijah is because Elijah never died. No one ever saw, Enoch didn't die. Elijah didn't die. No one ever saw the Apostle John ever die. He lived on an island I can't remember what name of the island it is. Do I believe they're going to return literally or not? I don't know. I don't know if they are or not. So I'm going to comment on it. When I get if I had a certain word from the Lord on it, I would be able to more comment on it, but I don't. He has talked to me about the 144,000 before, and I have articles written on that. For now, I've just stuck to the scripture in Nicodemus that I read, 5:3, that Elijah and Enoch would return. Halfway expect them to literally return as themselves. Do not believe that this Elijah the Tishbite guy parading around on the internet right now, whose name is Ernest Mach, is Elijah. And I don't believe that at all. And I've revealed codes about Ernest Mach on my website at hiddencodes.com. I believe he's probably genuinely nice, older man, but he's a CIA pawn. He's been duped. He's a pawn. They use him just like the FBI and the CIA used Stu Webb. He's a pawn of theirs. And that's why you can't take anything he says seriously with any kind of credibility, because he pushes their agenda. He's a pawn. He's chip implanted. He does as they lead him to do. And so all the stuff he puts out is always suspect. It's always pushing their own agenda. When the CIA wants to tick off Bush, they use Stu Webb on the internet. And so there's a lot of infighting. And a lot of times these people will tell you themselves who they are. I know Stu Webb was saying on his site that if you didn't believe what he was saying and you were one of his enemies, and that meant you worked for FBI Division 5. And he's probably just telling you right there he works for FBI Division 5. I don't think he is Division 5. I just think he's a pawn of Division 5. I think he's a pawn of the CIA. I think they both use him just to anger Bush. And so I've always felt that, and he's just a pawn. And Larry would have a lot more information about him, covers it more in depth than I do. I certainly don't like to spend a lot of my time with that whole charade of Stu Webb and the Barbara Hartwells and that entire crowd that does nothing but stumble over each other and discredit themselves every time they turn around. But what we're going to do is take a 5-minute break, and hopefully we can get a hold of Larry in between this time. So when we come back and start the second hour, he'll be on the show. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be right back. We'll see you then.